Right now, as you're watching this, there's an invisible frequency running through your body that's either pulling your dreams closer or pushing them further away. Most people spend their entire lives unaware of this frequency, wondering why some things manifest effortlessly while others feel impossible, no matter how hard they try. You've probably felt it before, that moment when everything just clicks, when opportunities appear out of nowhere, when the right person calls at exactly the right time. And you've also felt the opposite, when you're trying so hard to make something happen that it feels like you're swimming upstream against an invisible current. Here's what I've discovered after years of studying the quantum field of manifestation. There's one fundamental shift in how you approach manifesting that changes everything. It's not about visualization techniques, affirmations, or scripting. It's about understanding the difference between forcing and magnetism, and why most people are accidentally repelling exactly what they want most. If you're feeling like this message found you at exactly the moment you needed to hear it, hit that subscribe button right now. Sometimes the universe uses unexpected channels to deliver exactly what we need to understand, and if you're here, this might be one of those moments for you. The shift I'm about to share completely transformed not just what I was able to manifest, but how I felt while manifesting. Instead of that exhausting push and pull energy, you'll discover what it feels like to be in complete alignment with your desires, where manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. 3 years ago, I was doing everything right according to every manifestation teacher I'd studied. Vision boards covered my walls. I was journaling, visualizing, affirming. I had my manifestation routine down to a science. And yet, the biggest things I wanted, the relationship, the career breakthrough, the financial freedom, they stayed just out of reach, like I was looking at them through glass. Then something happened that completely shattered my understanding of how manifestation actually works. I was going through what felt like the worst period of my life. Everything I'd been trying to manifest seemed to be moving in the opposite direction. My relationship ended, I lost a job opportunity I'd been visualizing for months, and my finances were tighter than they'd ever been. I felt like a manifestation failure. But in that moment of complete surrender, when I finally stopped trying to control the how and when, something extraordinary shifted. Within 2 weeks, opportunities started flowing in ways I'd never experienced. The job that came was better than the one I'd lost. The relationship that ended made space for someone who was perfectly aligned with who I was becoming. Money started flowing from sources I'd never expected. The difference wasn't what I was doing, it was the energetic frequency I was operating from. And this is where most people get manifestation completely wrong. Most manifestation teachings focus on the doing, the techniques, the methods, the steps. But there's an underlying frequency that determines whether those techniques work or not. It's like having the most beautiful radio, but being tuned to static instead of music. Here's the frequency shift that changes everything. Instead of trying to get your desires, you start generating the frequency of already being the person who naturally attracts them. This isn't just positive thinking or fake it till you make it. This is about understanding that your desires exist on a specific frequency, and you can only manifest them when you're vibrating at that same frequency. Not sometimes, not when you're doing your manifestation routine, but as your natural state of being. Think about it this way. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to effortlessly attract opportunities, relationships, abundance? They're not working harder at manifesting. They're not doing more techniques. They're simply operating from the frequency of someone who naturally receives these things. This is what I call frequency manifestation, and it's based on a principle that most people never learn. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is something that literally no one talks about in the manifestation world. There's a specific neurological pattern that happens when you're trying too hard to manifest something. Your brain activates what's called the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response. When this system is activated, you're literally broadcasting a frequency of lack, desperation, and not having. The universe doesn't respond to your thoughts about what you want. It responds to the frequency you're broadcasting through your nervous system. And when you're in that sympathetic state, even if you're visualizing and affirming, you're unconsciously telling the universe, I don't have this thing I want. This is why so many people get frustrated with manifestation. They're doing all the right techniques while their nervous system is broadcasting the exact opposite frequency. The breakthrough comes when you learn to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest response, while holding your desires. This is the frequency of having, of being provided for, of natural flow and ease. If this is making sense to you, if you can feel the truth of what I'm sharing resonating in your body, subscribe to this channel right now. This is your energetic way of saying yes to receiving more insights like this. The universe is always listening to the small choices we make, and subscribing is like casting a vote for the version of yourself who naturally understands these deeper principles. Here's exactly how to make this shift, and why it works on such a deep level. The foundation: understanding your current frequency. First, you need to become aware of what frequency you're currently broadcasting. Most people are completely unconscious of this. They think they're being positive while their body is in a state of chronic stress and striving. Take a moment right now to scan your body. What does it feel like? Are your shoulders tense? Is your jaw clenched? Are you holding your breath? This is your frequency detector. Your body is always telling you exactly what signal you're sending out into the universe. When you're in a state of wanting, really wanting something you don't have, there's a specific feeling in your body. It feels like reaching, like stretching towards something just out of grasp. It's subtle, but once you learn to recognize it, you'll feel it everywhere. This is the frequency of lack, and it's the biggest manifestation blocker there is. As long as you're broadcasting this frequency, you'll keep creating more situations where you're wanting but not having. Stage 1: the nervous system reset. The first stage is learning to downregulate your nervous system on command. This isn't just relaxation, this is about shifting into the specific brainwave state where manifestation actually happens. When you're in alpha and theta brainwave states, the same states you're in right before you fall asleep and right after you wake up, your subconscious mind becomes highly programmable. But more importantly, your nervous system naturally shifts into the frequency of receiving. Here's a technique that most manifestation teachers don't know about. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, then exhale through your mouth for 8 counts. Do this 5 times. But here's the crucial part: as you're doing this breathing, imagine that with each exhale, you're releasing the need for anything to be different than it is right now. You're literally exhaling the frequency of lack. This isn't giving up on your desires. This is shifting into the frequency where they can actually reach you. Stage 2: embodying the having state. Most people try to manifest from the outside in. They try to create external circumstances that will make them feel the way they want to feel. But manifestation works from the inside out. You have to generate the feeling first, then the circumstances align to match it. This is where most visualization techniques fall short. They focus on seeing what you want, but they don't teach you how to feel like the person who already has it in their nervous system. Here's the shift: instead of visualizing what you want, start embodying who you would be if you already had it. What would be different about how you move through the world? How would you breathe? How would you hold your body? What would be the quality of your thoughts? This isn't pretending or faking it. This is literally rewiring your nervous system to operate from a new baseline. You're teaching your body what it feels like to be the person who naturally attracts what you desire. The key is specificity. Don't just think "I would be happy." Happiness is too vague. Get specific about the exact quality of internal experience you would have. If you were financially free, you might feel a deep sense of groundedness in your body, and knowing that you're always provided for. If you were in your ideal relationship, you might feel a warm expansion in your chest, a sense of being deeply seen and appreciated. These aren't just nice feelings, they're specific frequencies. And when you can generate these frequencies in your body consistently, you become a magnet for experiences that match them. Stage 3: the quantum field connection. This is where it gets really profound, and it's based on actual quantum physics that most people don't understand. At the quantum level, particles exist in what's called a superposition. They exist in all possible states simultaneously until they're observed. Your desires exist in the same way. They exist in quantum potential until your observation, your frequency, collapses them into physical reality. But here's what's fascinating. Recent studies in quantum consciousness have shown that your heart has a magnetic field that's 60 times greater than your brain's. When you're in heart coherence, when your heart rhythm becomes coherent and balanced, you literally tune into the quantum field in a more powerful way. This is why manifestation that comes from pure mental effort often fails. Your heart is your connection to the field of all possibilities. When your heart and mind are aligned in the same frequency, you become what scientists call a quantum attractor. Here's how to access this state. Place your hand on your heart and breathe into your heart space. As you breathe, imagine your desire is already complete in the quantum field, not as something you're trying to get, but as something that already exists and is simply making its way into your physical experience. Feel the gratitude for this completion, even though you can't see it yet. This gratitude isn't for what might happen, it's for what's already done at the quantum level. Stage 4, the resistance dissolve. Here's where most people get stuck, and why most manifestation attempts fail. Every desire you have also comes with its opposite, resistance. This resistance usually comes from subconscious programs that were installed when you were young, telling you why you can't have what you want, why you don't deserve it, or why it's not safe to have it. Most people try to fight this resistance or ignore it. But resistance is like a beach ball underwater. The harder you try to keep it down, the more force it builds up to surface. The breakthrough approach is to welcome the resistance. When limiting thoughts come up, instead of trying to replace them with positive thoughts, get curious about them. What are they trying to protect you from? What do they want you to know? This isn't therapy, this is frequency work. When you stop fighting your resistance and start understanding it, the charge around it dissolves. And when the charge dissolves, the resistance stops blocking your manifestation. Here's a powerful technique. When you notice resistance coming up, say to yourself, "Thank you for trying to protect me. I hear you, and I've got this handled." Then breathe into your heart and reconnect with your desired frequency. The resistance isn't your enemy, it's an outdated protection system that's trying to keep you safe. Once it realizes you're safe to have what you desire, it stops creating interference. Stage 5, living in the frequency. The final stage is the most important one, and it's where most people plateau in their manifestation journey. You can do all the techniques in the world, but if you only access your desired frequency during your manifestation time and then spend the rest of your day in the old frequency, you're sending mixed signals to the universe. This is about making your desired frequency your new baseline. It's about catching yourself when you slip back into the old patterns of lack, worry, or forcing, and gently shifting back to your natural frequency of having and being. The way you do this is through what I call frequency anchors. These are small, consistent actions throughout your day that reconnect you to your desired state. It might be taking 3 conscious breaths before you check your phone. It might be pausing to feel gratitude before you eat. It might be setting a gentle timer to go off every hour, reminding you to check in with your frequency. The key is consistency, not intensity. Small, frequent alignments are more powerful than long, intense manifestation sessions followed by hours of unconscious, scattered energy. Here's something most people don't know about manifestation. There's actual, measurable science behind why this frequency approach works. The Institute of Heart Math has done extensive research showing that when your heart rhythm is coherent, when you're in a state of appreciation, love, or compassion, your entire nervous system shifts into optimal function. Your brain produces different neurotransmitters, your immune system strengthens, and most importantly for manifestation, your electromagnetic field becomes more coherent and powerful. This coherent electromagnetic field is what actually interacts with the quantum field to influence probability. You're not just thinking your way into manifestation, you're using your entire biofield as a transmission device. But here's the really fascinating part. When multiple people are in heart coherence simultaneously, their electromagnetic fields can entrain with each other, amplifying the effect. This is why group meditation and collective intention are so powerful. This means that as you start operating from this frequency, you're not just changing your own reality, you're contributing to a collective field that makes it easier for others to access the same frequency. Here's what I want you to share in the comments. Think about a time in your life when something you desired came to you effortlessly, almost like magic. What was different about how you were feeling in that time? What was your internal state? Share that story in the comments because your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to understand their own manifestation frequency. And as you share, notice how it feels to remember that state. That feeling you're remembering, that's your natural manifestation frequency. That's who you really are when you're not trying to be someone else. The real magic happens not in the learning, but in the living. Everything I've shared with you is meaningless unless it becomes how you naturally move through the world. Here's the truth that most manifestation teachers won't tell you. This isn't a technique you do, this is who you become. The techniques are just training wheels to help you remember your natural state of magnetic attraction. Think about the most naturally attractive people you know, not physically attractive, but energetically attractive. People who seem to effortlessly draw opportunities, relationships, and experiences to them. They're not working harder at manifesting. They're simply being themselves, and their authentic frequency attracts what's aligned with them. This is your invitation to stop trying to manifest and start being the person who naturally attracts what you desire. The shift happens in layers. First, you'll notice it working for small things. You'll think about calling someone, and they'll text you. You'll need information about something, and you'll overhear exactly what you need to know. You'll feel like having a particular experience, and an invitation will appear. These aren't coincidences, they're feedback from the universe that you're tuning into the right frequency. As you continue to live from this frequency, bigger shifts start happening. Opportunities that perfectly match your skills and interests will find you. People who complement your journey will cross your path. Resources will show up just when you need them. But here's the most beautiful part. When you're truly living in your natural frequency, you stop caring so much about specific outcomes. You start trusting that whatever comes is exactly what you need for your highest good. This trust paradoxically makes you even more magnetic because you're no longer broadcasting the desperate energy of needing things to be different. You start to realize that manifestation isn't about getting stuff, it's about becoming who you really are. And who you really are is someone who naturally attracts experiences that support your growth, joy, and contribution to the world. The desires you have aren't random. They're not selfish wants that you need to feel guilty about. They're actually guidance from your higher self, showing you what experiences and contributions you're here to have and make. When you understand this, manifestation becomes sacred. It becomes a practice of alignment with your highest purpose, not just a way to get things. This is why the frequency approach is so much more powerful than techniques-based manifestation. Techniques can help you get specific things, but frequency transformation changes your entire relationship with life. You stop living from scarcity and start living from abundance. You stop living from fear and start living from love. You stop living from separation and start living from connection with something greater than yourself. And from this place, manifestation isn't something you do, it's something you are. Every moment becomes an opportunity to choose your frequency. Every interaction becomes a chance to broadcast what you want to see more of in the world. Every breath becomes a chance to align with the version of yourself who naturally lives the life you've been dreaming of. This isn't just about manifesting your desires. This is about becoming someone whose very presence raises the frequency of everyone around you. This is about living in such alignment with your true nature that your life becomes a gift not just to yourself, but to everyone whose life you touch. The world needs people who understand how to live from this frequency. We're living in times when collective fear and scarcity consciousness are loud and prevalent. But when you learn to consistently operate from the frequency of love, abundance, and trust, you become part of the solution. You become someone who reminds others, just by being yourself, that there's another way to live. This is your invitation to step into that version of yourself. Not someday, when you've perfected all the techniques. Not when all your desires have manifested. Right now, in this moment, as you're receiving these words. Take a breath. Feel into your body. Notice what it would feel like to completely trust that everything you need is already on its way to you. Notice what it would feel like to know, without a doubt, that you are deeply loved and supported by the universe itself. That feeling, that's your home frequency. That's who you are when all the layers of conditioning and fear and trying are stripped away. You don't have to earn the right to feel this way. You don't have to prove yourself worthy of your desires. You don't have to perfect yourself before you can start living from this frequency. You can start right now, with the next breath you take, with the next choice you make, with the next person you interact with. This is your moment. This is your invitation. This is your time to stop trying to manifest and start being the person who naturally magnetizes the life you're here to live. The frequency is already within you. You're just remembering how to tune into it. And as you do, watch how your entire world begins to shift to match the new signal you're broadcasting. Watch how doors open that you didn't even know existed. Watch how solutions appear for problems you've been struggling with for years. Watch how people show up who see and appreciate the real you. This isn't magic, this is how the universe actually works when you're in alignment with your true frequency. Welcome home to yourself. Welcome to the life that's been waiting for you to remember who you really are. Your journey into frequency manifestation starts now, with this moment, with this breath, with this choice to trust the magnificent being that you are. The universe has been waiting for you to remember your power. Now it's time to use it.